Notice those couples that appear to have everything sorted out. The Middleton couple, Carole and Michael, have long exemplified this trait. They are reserved, composed, and seemingly unmovable. Something has been subtly falling apart, though, beneath the surface of the courteous smiles and refined attire. Rumors have been circulating for some time now that the matriarch of the renownedly tight-knit Middleton family, Carole, has made a major statement regarding her marriage, not the type of thing you'd expect from someone who was previously called the royal in-law who kept everything together. When you look into the Middleton household, what do you see? Let's dive into the awe-inspiring love story that took flight in the air, the difficulties of being so close to the royal family, and the growing tensions that may have almost destroyed Carole and Michael. More than merely wedlock is at the heart of this narrative. Resilience, sacrifice, and the consequences of having one's private lives made horribly public are themes that run throughout. In the beginning, love soars. Carole and Michael Middleton were no more than two young professionals attempting to carve out their place in the world before their royal wedding, castles, and headlines. Very literally. In the late 70s, their romance at British Airways took off. A charming and self-assured flight attendant, she had sparkling eyes and a magnetic personality. He had a calm, collected manner and a keen intellect. He was a flight dispatcher. It was one of those typical professional romances when casual chats blossomed into something more. They met on the job. In the beginning, there was nothing fancy, simply shared sandwiches, overnight flights, and a bond that grew stronger with time. The year 1980 saw their little wedding ceremony was a reflection of their personalities, deeply in love and subtly driven. The next thing you knew, the family was expanding. The future Princess of Wales, Catherine, came first, then Pippa and James. Carole wasn't one to fade into the background, even though their family seemed perfect from the outside. Launching Party Pieces, a mail-order business selling party items, in 1987, she had 3 young children at home. It was original, smart, and, after a while, quite profitable. While caring for her children and running the business out of the family home, Carole also packaged birthday banners and balloons. Always there for his partners, Michael quit his job as an airline employee to devote himself full-time to the company. Everyone chipped in, and for a long time, it paid off. They weren't merely caring for children, they were constructing a future, a family, and a brand all at once. There was less pressure, fewer obstacles, and fewer eyes on you when you lived back then. I am not ready just yet. Rising through the ranks of society, everyone fell head over heels for Kate Middleton the moment she became Prince William's girlfriend. Her entire family became a source of obsession for them. The once relatively provident Middletons, an upper-middle-class Berkshire family, found themselves unexpectedly embroiled in a worldwide discourse. Carole was the focal point of it all. Back up a little. The Middletons were comfortably off before their royal courtship, but they certainly weren't nobility. In Bucklebury, they enjoyed a cozy home, enjoyed skiing vacations, and enrolled their children in prestigious schools. Their solidarity, nevertheless, was the true distinguishing factor. Together, Carole and Michael instilled strong principles and a sense of calm discipline in their children. Everyone said they were very loyal to one another and that they were quite close-knit. Things took a turn for the worst when Kate began dating William in the early 2000s. Carole began with a cautious optimism. Who among us wouldn't? The princess's fiancé was a prince, as well as the future king of England, and not just any prince. However, this was no fanciful story. There was constant scrutiny, genuine stress, and the weight of reality. Carole was suddenly more than just a mother. The media flocked to her because she was the mother of the royal girlfriend. There was no mercy from the British press. The pleasant, accessible characteristics of the self-made Middleton family were being celebrated one day. One minute they were analyzing Carole's accent, the next the school lunches she sent Kate with. Critics said she was overbearing, boundless energy, almost too much. Rumor has it that some newspapers couldn't help but compare Carole to a contemporary Mrs. Bennet, fervently wanting her daughter to find a suitable husband. Rumors circulated that she was trying to insert her family into the royal family's inner circle, that she was micromanaging, and that she chewed gum at a royal gathering. Regardless of its veracity, it appeared to be of no consequence. The story became ubiquitous as soon as it was broadcast. Meanwhile, the ever-calm matriarch Carole continued to be an industry expert. But they didn't just sit at royal events. She gracefully smiled for the cameras and then stepped back when appropriate. It certainly wasn't simple behind closed doors. Her character flaws, her lack of lack of focus and determination were suddenly working against her. Michael, on the other hand, maintained his demeanor of subtle elegance. The pair, who had previously operated a business out of their kitchen table, were now attempting to keep everything as usual while being watched by a royal-sized telescope. The situation became increasingly delicate as the romance between Kate and William intensified. The lavish 2011 royal wedding further established the Middletons' position in the exclusive social circle that surrounds royal families. The famous gown that Kate wore down the aisle was seen by millions of people. Even though all eyes were on the bride, many also noticed Carole. She seemed poised, sophisticated, and completely in charge. But there are pros and cons to being famous. The royal link brought opportunities, but it also placed tremendous emotional and mental strain on the family. In an instant, Carole and Michael had to find a way to balance being in-laws to royalty with being themselves and establishing clear boundaries. Pippa felt that the wedding had both good and bad effects on her. She became an instant star the moment she stepped out in that elegant white bridesmaid gown. Pippa was soon a media darling, appearing at events, on magazine covers, and in gossip columns, after the press dubbed her the royal hotness. Some said she seemed extremely composed, while others said she was trying to steal the show. Being famous by someone else's name wasn't always a compliment. Lastly, there was James, the Middleton sibling who was the youngest. He avoided the spotlight and fought his own fights. In a subsequent interview, James discussed his battles with mental health, saying that the demands of the spotlight and maintaining the ideal Middleton image were hard on him. Despite her best efforts, Carole was now unable to protect her children and instead had to stand by while they struggled with problems she couldn't solve. The close-knit family unit began to crumble under the weight of all this attention, celebrity, and criticism. Carole and Michael, who had traditionally taken delight in remaining grounded, now found themselves operating in a world where their every word, glance, and movement was scrutinized. The general public wasn't the only one keeping tabs. Also, rumblings could be heard behind the palace gates. Rumor has it that the royal family is confused about the Middletons. According to some sources, those people weren't nobility. The money they came from wasn't from centuries ago. They didn't belong there. Well-off individuals, certainly, but still considered outsiders. Many people looked at Carole with distrust, involved, too near to Kate, and all the time present. Carole and Michael tried to adjust as best they could. They were respectful, followed protocol, and stood by Kate as she took on her royal responsibilities. However, the cost was obvious. Only the exterior retained its luster and allure. But unseen forces were ratcheting up the pressure. Moreover, for Michael and Carole, whose bond has always been founded on common objectives and reciprocal encouragement, the fissures started to reveal themselves. Carole and Michael Middleton appeared to personify a certain type of understated success for many years. They were steady and unwavering, without being showy or boisterous. They were the type of pair that effortlessly raised a close-knit family, ran a successful business, and gracefully navigated the turbulent pull of royal proximity. Nevertheless, not even the rock-solid bases are immune to shaking. As the Middletons' commercial empire started to collapse, their marital harmony also started to deteriorate. The party pieces were the major element in that disintegration. Carole had created the business from scratch, frequently at her kitchen table, with her children's art supplies and backpacks strewn about. Not only did it provide for her financially, but it also served as a representation of her determination, resourcefulness, and the life she and Michael had created for themselves. It wasn't merely a business setback. When it started to tank, it hit close to home. There was no denying the pressure by 2022. There was more rivalry in the online market. Consumer patterns had shifted due to the pandemic, and the corporation was unable to adapt quickly enough. Whispers in the corporate sphere started to pick up steam. crisis arose for party pieces. It had been officially announced by the time 2023 came around. With debts totaling an estimated £2.6 million, the company had to declare bankruptcy. A freight train slammed into Carole. Those close to her reported that she was truly saddened, embarrassed, and grieved. As someone who had always taken great satisfaction in her commanding presence, some even went so far as to say that she was a poor mom for thinking that having a future queen would automatically make you a successful businesswoman. The brutality was exposed to the public eye. Michael, who was always there quietly, offered his support. However, the impact of the moment on both of them was evident. Their partnership had been based on shared objectives for quite some time. Taking care of the kids, encouraging Kate as she becomes a princess, and putting together decorations for parties all come together.